Alright, friends, let's get started with lesson 15. As always, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, you can join Coach and myself 9 a.m. I'll be there tomorrow. Hopefully, you will be too. Get some extra credit. For shout outs, there's a lot of people. I'm not even going to read all these names, but if your name is here, snap it up for you. Hopefully, you heard my snaps. I don't actually know. We'll see. Join us for remote office hours 10:30 to 11 or 1:14 to 1:44, especially Blackbeard's boot camp. I saw that Monday and Tuesday was a little tough for y'all, so I'm going to be helping y'all in this video right here. Alright, for today's assignment, it's very important that you have your code updated, otherwise you will not be able to do this. So I'm actually going to walk you through what you're supposed to do for lesson 14 on Tuesday. First, step 6 was add comments for the for loop, lines 12 through 16. Let's see. So in this for loop right here, we have x as our index variable in the range of names. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3 names, and so this loop should loop, or I should say iterate 3 times. Each time that it iterates, it's going to create a chore object. As you see here, remember our chore class. I actually have it right here. And you may notice that I actually changed the constructor to take in 4 different arguments now. So it goes name, area, tools, and then hacks, because in our chores class, we're actually going to just make a list of chores. And that's exactly what these lines are all doing. Making a chore object, and then line 15 adds that chore object to our chore list, and then on line 16 it announces it so that we can see what's going on. I'm actually going to take this line out now so that we don't see it every time, because remember, we're going to make our own print method later on that's going to do that exactly for us. Okay, for step 7, include some hacks for the hack list. That just means where it says not available, add in whatever hacks you may have. So for the dishes, I always do flat to round first. Let's see, for the laundry, you always separate colors and whites. When I'm sweeping, I guess I go from the outside in. You can put those in there, it's up to you. For step 8, add 1 more chore to the list. Let's see. Here, give me a chore.
Washing dishes.
I already got dishes.
Washing the stove.
Stove, babe, beautiful.
Stove
She's obsessed with the stove, so of course she said stove. What is the area of the stove? It's in the kitchen. What are some tools you use? I guess a cleaner. And some hacks. I'm going to put not available because I'm lazy, but typically you should put something in there. Step 9, create an accessor method for areas, tools, and hacks. So this one was giving people a very tough time, and it really wasn't that difficult. I saw many people had the right idea to copy and paste this right here and then use the same format. You're absolutely correct. So paste that, and paste that. Make sure that your functions are indented, otherwise they will not be inside of your chores class. It's important that they are so that they can be recognized. Let me get some space here. So after name goes area. After area is tools. And after tool, hack. Alright, let's look at step 10. It says create a method that prints out the list of chores. So I'm going to come right under my accessor methods and add def. I'm just going to call it print chores. It doesn't take any arguments, so we just put in self since it's inside of our chores class. Now this one right here was kind of deceptively difficult. If you actually understood how it worked, it was a very simple line of code, but you really had to understand it on a deep level. At first, I typed in print self.chore list of X name, simply because if I want to print out my list of chores, that's what I'm going to need. But since I'm iterating through my list for X in self.chore list, then I'll print everything that's in the list. When I ran that, let me refresh this real quick. There we go. Oh, I see. I never called my function. That's why I'm not getting anything. I'm supposed to get an error. So I want to say list dot print chores. Now when I run that, I get an error. It's saying it must be an integer, and that's what gave me the hint of what my error was. I actually looked it up. So if you look, the in keyword actually has two uses. So it can be used for a for loop, but it can also be used to check if a value is present in a sequence like a list. So here, since this is a list, X doesn't represent an integer, X is representing the actual value in the list. So instead of self.chore list of X, I should actually just be printing X. And then I want the name because X right now represents my actual chore objects. So when I run that, here we go. Dishes, laundry, sweeping, and then now stove. Alright, just to make our print chores function a little bit better, I'm going to name a variable count as 1 here. I added this here, string, convert our count to a string so that we can concatenate it. And then we're also going to change that value here, plus equal 1. So now when we run it, we get these numbers next to our lists, so that when we are actually updating it for our choices later, it's a little easier. Alright, so for our last two, we print our list of chores, which we've already done. It's list.print chores. Remember, that's our method that we just made right here. And then after that, we're going to print the name of the area. So that is another method, list.chore area. And the second item is number 1. So basement. Just to check if that's right, here we go right here. Definitely correct. I want to just make that a little bit bigger so you guys can see more of the code all at once, since I'm going to make you type it. I'm going to run through it and explain what each thing does real quick. So this from chore means from this chore file right here, I'm importing my chore class, which is actually class chore, that's right here. Then I create my class called chores, which is really just a list of chore objects. And then here, I'm giving all of the types of information that's going to go into my chores. Since I want to be able to fill my list with some preset chores, I have a list of names, areas, tools, and hacks that are all going to be pre-populated inside by this for loop right here. I've taken out the announce so that now we can use our print chores method whenever we want to actually print out a list of chores, and we can announce them if we want by calling that function ourselves. Here are our accessor methods for name, area, tool, and hack. Finally, our print chore method. I'm creating a list that is a chores object, and then I'm calling my print chores method, and then finally calling the chore area method. Alright, now that you've updated your code, we are going to be creating a method that names choose chore that allows the user to choose what chore they'd like the information on, and then it will print that information or give them the choice of adding a chore to the list. I'll leave that up to you to figure it out, and we'll talk about that in our call today. All right, last thing before I go, no Zoom calls on Friday. We're going to be observing Good Friday, so there are going to be no Zoom calls. However, if you want help, feel free to reach out. Your teachers will all be available in all of your classes. If you have not, make sure you're submitting 2A, 2C, and 2D. They were due already. 2E is due on Friday. Finally, I want to let you know that for the Unit 5 finals next week, it will be the Explore test. So if you've already completed 2A through 2E, you're in a good place. But if you haven't, submit those and make your life easier on yourself. All right, friends. Thanks. Plus Ultra.